August 18th, 2021. North Marseille is 10 o'clock at night. 4 shots ring out. 1 boy goes down. His name is Ryan. He's 14 years old and he's lying bleeding in the street. He'll be dead before the ambulance even arrives. So what was it? A mistake? A stray bullet in a chaotic neighborhood? Or was this something else entirely? Was this a calculated business move? Today, we're going to Marseille, a city that has become both a battlefield and a business school, where death is just a part of the profit margin and the local drug dealer doesn't call himself a gangster. He calls himself a merchant. We're going past the headlines to look at the mechanics of a narco economy that treats teenagers as utterly disposable assets. This isn't just a story about drugs. It's a story about identity, economics, and survival. Marseille is really a city split in two, and the dividing line is as simple as a tram track. In the south, you have the old port. It glimmers with luxury yachts, tourists, and restaurants serving 30 euros bouillabaisse. But you go north, just a few stops on that tram, and you enter a completely different world. Here, in the quartiers nords, the northern quarters, the drug points, the times plans, stops, times they aren't hidden away in some dark alley. They are openly advertised. They're signposted with graffiti, protected by lookouts, and fortified with checkpoints made from whatever is available. Rusted oil drums, discarded box springs from old mattresses, and the revenue from one of these spots is staggering. A single high-traffic corner in a housing project like La Bousserine can generate 20,000 euros in cash every single day. If you do the math on that, that's about 7.3 million euros a year from a patch of pavement, no bigger than a small studio apartment. Now, you have to understand, this isn't a breakdown of order. It's the establishment of a rival one. When a street corner generates that much cash, it stops being just a gang, and it becomes something more like a microstate. The police aren't just fighting crime in the way we usually think about it. One commander described their work as playing chess with firecrackers. They can disrupt a single move, maybe capture a piece, but they can't remove the board itself, because the board is the very architecture of the city. This is what some French officials have started calling Mexicanization. It's a term for that specific tipping point where the narco economy stops hiding from the state and starts trying to replace it. In these neighborhoods, the gang provides the only reliable employment agency. It provides the only real security through its checkpoints. It provides the only social ladder you can actually climb. The police are looking for criminals, but the neighborhood is looking for a CEO. The tragedy of Marseille is that the street corner is the only place hiring. But to run a multi-million euro state on a street corner, you need more than just territory. You need a modern corporate structure. So forget the image you have from movies. Forget the drug kingpin in a silk robe, like some kind of Scarface caricature. The narco economy in Marseille functions much more like a decentralized Amazon fulfillment center. Each corner is a node in a massive franchise. The products even come in custom branded packaging. We're talking about Ziploc bags with anime characters or football club logos on them, all designed to build customer loyalty and brand recognition. There are set shifts for the sellers, digital marketing campaigns run on Snapchat, and a logistics chain so ruthlessly efficient that if a merchant gets arrested at 2 p.m, a replacement is standing on that same concrete tile by 2:05 p.m. This corporate mindset completely changes the nature of violence. In this model, murder isn't a personal vendetta. It's a line item on a budget. It's a cost of doing business, or maybe a market correction. So when a 4-year-old kid like Ryan is killed, the system doesn't mourn. It recalibrates. The franchise is designed to be completely person agnostic. The roles of times Guetteur asterisk, the lookout, and times Charbonneur asterisk, the dealer, are standardized job slots that can be filled by absolutely anyone. And that makes the individual human being entirely and tragically disposable. Now, you might argue that, well, surely increased police pressure, these big busts we hear about, like seizing 170 kilograms of cannabis, surely that breaks the model, but it doesn't. In fact, the corporate structure makes the system what you might call anti-fragile. It gets stronger under stress. Because the talent pool is so deep and the roles are so simplified, a massive police raid actually just functions as a promotion opportunity for all the kids lower down the ladder. As one teen involved in the trade put it, you can seize the weed, but you can't seize the street. The market just treats police intervention as a temporary supply chain disruption, not a terminal blow. In the courtiers nords, They haven't replaced the law with chaos, they've replaced the social contract with a franchise agreement. And if this system is a machine, then its fuel is a steady, almost endless supply of young men who don't see themselves as villains. They see themselves as entrepreneurs. The recruits are getting younger and younger. We're talking about 1 3-year-olds working as lookouts, 1 7-year-olds as debt collectors. And they don't call themselves gangsters. It's a word they avoid. They use the term times commerciants, times merchants. It's a very deliberate choice. Many of them are what one judge called designer paupers. You see them on the street wearing 800 euros Balenciaga sneakers or a Louis Vuitton coat, but they have absolutely €0 in a bank account. They live in a world where a 1 4-year-old boy can be offered 50,000 euros to carry out a hit, a sum that is more money than his parents might see in 5 years of honest legal labor. That label, merchant, it's an incredibly powerful psychological tool. It strips away the moral weight of selling drugs and replaces it with the language and prestige of professional success. For a teenager growing up in a neglected banlieue, a housing project, the street offers the only path they can see to the kind of high consumption lifestyle that's glamorized on their Snapchat feeds and in TV series like Time's Narco's Asterisk. Those designer clothes aren't just clothes, they're a uniform. They are a visual signal that they have opted out of a society that they feel has already rejected them. The long-term danger here isn't just the drugs themselves. It's the permanent distortion of the labour market. I mean, when a 1 5-year-old can earn 100 euros a day just for sitting on a crate and watching a corner, the entire legal economy, the idea of an entry-level job, it becomes invisible to them. It's a joke. Even if they survive to age 25, they have no civilian skills. The only skills they have are street skills, evasion, surveillance, intimidation, violence. What we are witnessing is the creation of a lost generation whose only professional resume is a criminal record. They aren't buying sneakers to walk away, they're buying them to prove they've finally arrived in a world that refuses to see them. This total immersion in the narco identity, it makes escaping the cycle almost impossible. Even when the business turns on its own members, there are stories of boys trying to run, one leaping onto a moving bus screaming, "They're going to kill me!" Another found tied up in a basement, beaten for making a 50-euro mistake. The system is all-consuming. So, when we pull back and look at the entire picture, a few key things become painfully clear. First, the narco economy in Marseille has evolved from disorganized gangs into a self-repairing corporate franchise that treats human life as a disposable asset. Second, by rebranding themselves as merchants, these kids find a sense of professional pride and belonging that the French state has completely failed to provide them. Third, our traditional model of policing this so-called war on drugs, it struggles because it treats the issue as a series of crimes to be solved when it's actually facing a rival economic and social system that is currently out-competing the state. And finally, the drug trade has created these grey zones, these territories where the state's law is replaced by the law of the corner, complete with its own checkpoints, its own tax system, and its own brutal form of justice. We often talk about the war on drugs as if it's a battle between good guys and bad guys, but in the housing projects of North Marseille, it looks much more like a hostile takeover by a more efficient competitor. The street corner isn't just selling hashish, it's selling a job description, a paycheck, and a sense of being somebody to 1 4-year-olds who feel like nobody in the eyes of the Republic. Until the state can offer a better return on investment than a 20,000 euros a day drug point, the merchants will keep setting the price of the street in blood. The real question isn't how many kilograms we can seize, but whether we can offer a kid in La Serene an identity that is more compelling than a designer jacket and a dead-end corner.